Hello, welcome to Romance Book Monsters. I am Kitty Boom, and this is my co-host Lollipop. How's it going today?
It's going good. It started a little chilly, but now it's balmy, high 70s, low 80s. It's great.
It's chilly here. Well, it's not chilly outside. It's chilly inside. I really need to adjust my air conditioner. I'm freezing myself out.
Yeah. And then you're going to get that light bill and you're going to be like, what did I do?
Actually, you know what? Random thing. Our building maintenance man came a couple weeks ago and he was like, if you leave it at 70, you'll notice that your light bill will decrease. And I'm like, no. And I actually did. And he was actually right. So
That's what my normal temperatures. Yeah, 70, 72. That's where I started at.
it's like if you leave it low, then it will not have to turn over as often. And that's where the energy happens.
Smart man.
So it went down a little bit, but I'll be ready when I can turn it off.
For sure.
But I hope all of our listeners are doing well out there. I have recently discovered a brand new author, and I have eaten up her series, and that is the book we're going to review from that series today. Her name is Megan Fall, and we are going to be reviewing Guarding Alexandria. Mm-hmm. I believe it's like the fourth or fifth book in this line. Sometimes I don't start with the first book. I'll start with like a later book in the line because it'll sound more interesting and that'll like entice me to go and read the whole series. And that is definitely how like this series worked out. Like I started with this one late in the game and then I had to like snuggle down in my bed and complete the rest of them that were out. I can't wait till the next one is released in this series.
Yeah, I must say, it's also a new author for me that I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I think it was really well written.
So it's all surrounded. It's a Motor MC Club. You guys know that I am definitely in motorcycle club book genre right now. And so this is surrounding a motorcycle club. And they're kind of on the up and up, I guess one could say.
I mean, well, you gotta take a step back. So the book is called Guarding Alexandria by Megan Fall. And I would say the main character is MC adjacent in the beginning because he's not part of the MC.
But I was giving like the overview. And the overview is that it's like surrounding a motorcycle club. Mm-hmm. Now the guy himself is definitely not on the up and up.
Well, he's in the gray.
A mini mobster of his own.
I feel like it's more
mobster backing.
Yeah, I feel like it's more grayish. A little bit of the black side, a little bit of the legal side. Some of his stuff
he's gray. He's dark gray.
Well, he's not dark gray enough to end up in jail. Let's just put it that way.
That is true. That is true.
Let's go to a medium gray. He's a medium gray.
He's a medium gray. Okay, I'll go for that. He's a medium gray. He's gray enough where you can date him and find enough justifications to be like he's not a criminal technically.
Listen, he's a loan shark. You owe him money, you better sign over that business. That's not, I mean, he ain't breaking kneecaps. He don't got to. He just taking your stuff.
Right. If he likes your stuff, if he don't like your stuff too much, then he'll break your kneecap. But before we just like get just too much into it and to the side, we'll let you know how it went. So his friends he's very close to a motorcycle club. And like Kitty said, like Lolly said, he's very, he's kind of like a loan shark. So he has loaned a strip club owner money to fund his strip club, and the strip club owner cannot pay him back his money. So he decides, it's a good business. It makes a good profit. So I'm just going to take part ownership of this business.
Half. That's not part.
I'm going to take half. Yes, that is. I'm going to take half, we're gonna be partners. That's how I'll get my money back. And so the owner like invites him to see this brand new innocent looking stripper that's gonna be his new gold mine to like celebrate the new partnership. And when he goes and see this new stripper, he realizes that it's his young love that he left before he got like entrenched in the business that he's in because he didn't want her to be hurt by his line of work.
So it's
But
a second chance romance.
yeah,
Second chance.
second chance romance. And like they're really young. Like it doesn't like specifically say how old he is, but he has to be like under 27 because she herself is only 23 and they were in high school at the same time as high school romance.
I feel like she was 16 and he was 18, but don't quote me on that.
Okay, yeah, probably
something around that age, yeah.
So, you know, he immediately like goes after her. It's like, you know, oh my gosh, why are you stripping? Put my coat on. Nobody can see you like this. And her, like, she is in a time of her life where she doesn't have a lot of money. Like, she had to drop out of college to take care of her father once he was diagnosed with cancer. And he recently died the year before. She had to sell their family home and basically all of their possessions just to cover the cost of the medical bills and whatnot. So she's really living hand to mouth right now. And she lives in a shack behind a hotel that she like cleans in exchange to live in this shack where
and breakfast, which is a bar and a piece of fruit.
And it was a very bad deal because she only gets to eat breakfast after all the guests have eaten. So she basically gets the leftovers. So if there's any left, that's what she gets. And then the housing is in the tool shed. So there's no there's no insulation. So it's cold in the winter and it's hot in the summer. So it's just a bad deal to clean 19 rooms a day. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I
get desperate. You do what you got to do when you're desperate. It was either that or sleep in her car. And which one is more dangerous, you know?
So he like tells the owner that, you know, she can't work there anymore as a stripper, and he goes to find her, but he can't find her anywhere. So she comes back to work and she's basically turned away, and she gets attacked outside of the strip club. And then she goes home, and he eventually gets the motorcycle club to help him find her. And that is like the beginning of their re-romance.
Well, she wasn't turned away. She was called to meet with the owner and she ran.
Yeah. He was like, she like assumed that they were gonna like take her job away. And she assumed correctly, but like one of my big like questions, like, you know how usually we go through the book and we like pick out those parts that were like our favorite parts.
Mm-hmm.
With this book, it was a little different. Like I really enjoyed the book overall, even like compared to the rest of the books in this series. I really enjoyed this book too. But rather than like, oh, I like this, it was just like parts of the book that like made no sense to me. Of like, you know, why did she do this or why did that happen? So that was my take on it. But what about you? What do you think about the book overall?
Overall, I like the book a lot. There was some things, but I think part of it is if we put ourselves in the perspective of the girl, she was very sheltered and naive. She'd been taking care of her dad the last few years. It wasn't like she was going out. She wasn't worldly. And obviously she wasn't expecting to be attacked in the garage, in the parking lot.
Right.
So I can see why she would be like, well, I'm out. I don't want to meet with him. Because I feel like she thought that Mario was there in that office too. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking in my mind, which is why she was like, nah, I'm dipping because I don't want to see him.
And if I remember correctly, he did break up with her like wrongly. Like he didn't say it as like honestly, it's like, oh, I'm about to, you know, become a little criminal mastermind and I can't have you mixed up in that. He said it as oh, you're too young and I don't love you.
Yeah, exactly. He broke her heart.
Together no more type of thing.
He broke her heart. So as much as it frustrated me, about, kind of what happened to her. And the thing is too, is that obviously they know that there are people who might try something in the parking garage because they walk all the strippers to their car. She ran off on her own, right? She didn't even give him a chance to walk her to, she wasn't even like, no, I'm leaving, walk me back to my car. She just runs off by herself and is attacked. Now, granted, no one should attack a woman ever. That's obviously in the wrong. But as we find out later in the book, that someone was paid to attack her. It wasn't an incident that would have happened. So, I can kind of look past that particular incident because I can see where a logical thinking person could just leave a situation that they're not comfortable in. I get that.
Yeah, we definitely had to mention that, like, soon after she's let go from the strip club, we find out that she has like a stalker, like somebody that's trying to like find her.
Mm-hmm.
And I just knew it was at first I was like, it's the bodyguard, like the guy who was like guarding the door who she was talking to.
I knew it wasn't him because
Like,
it was too clean. And even she said that doesn't make sense. That doesn't match his personality. Like it was too perfect, quote unquote. That
eventually I like came to that conclusion before we got to the end, and it was super nuts. Now I'd rather let the reader like figure out who it was because it was so crazy who it turned out to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like completely out of the ball field, which is why I thought it was him at first, and then I kind of thought it was the club owner, but then I was like, nah, that doesn't like fit either.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was real cool. Like
I knew it wasn't the club owner because why would you damage your own merchandise? That's stupid.
Yeah.
Like, so I knew it wasn't him. And I knew it wasn't the bodyguard because to me, it just didn't make sense that it was the bodyguard. It would be the easiest answer. And it's only ever the easiest answer in a poorly written book.
Oh, you know what? We gotta tell who it is, because one of my points that I noticed of like, what was the things that was just what kind of reveals like who it was that was behind it.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So just before you do that, spoiler alert them. And then they'll be like, okay, stop. If you're gonna read this book, stop right here. If spoilers interrupt your enjoyment, stop right here. If it does not, keep it going.
Oh, and I just love how like the new Mario, he's all like 3-piece suit type dude. And she's like, oh, I miss the dude in the ripped jeans and in the boots. And he goes and he keeps on his little sports jacket. He's like, well, I'll put jeans on.
Exactly. And then he showed up with her on the bikers and they were like, whoa, she changing you already.
Yeah.
And then they painted his house pink.
Uh-huh.
And all his furniture. And then when he asked his guards what happened, they was like, well, they paid 2 bills a person. That's how
you let you know that he was good friends at the motorcycle club, because anybody else, he paid us off. Basically, I'm sure that would not have gone over well.
No. Not at all. No, my other favorite part is when she was teaching the old ladies pole dancing tricks. And the men came back to the club and saw their women trying out tricks on the pole. They grabbed their women up so quick and went home.
Yeah.
It was a good night. So there's parts of this book that are really, really good. So overall, yeah, I mean, I don't have, and I think I have the same thing that you're going to say that reveals who it is the same thing that I'm going to say. She ain't made no sense. She was just dumb. Like,
yes, that was my point. The stripper. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert.
Well, she's towards the end. So is there anything else you wanted to talk about first before that?
Let's see. Well, my first main thing was, why didn't she go back and be like, how are you going to just fire me? I mean, the girl had no money. She's living in a shack. I would have at least gone and asked my boss where she was making all that money as a stripper from. Like,
but she didn't know that she was being fired. She assumed she was being
assumed.
fired.
I would have
Exactly.
made sure.
So, right, exactly. I would also say this is something I did make note of. I like the fact that the author kind of made them date a little bit and get to know each other.
Yeah.
Again, before they jumped into bed. Like, I really enjoyed the fact that, yes, they were like sleeping in the same bed, but they weren't doing anything, or they were just rediscovering each other. And then, having the discussions about why their relationship ended, and her getting to understand like what his thought process was, and him apologizing and stuff like that. I think that piece, and that the author made the time to do that before having sex, I think was a good look.
This might be this author's like signature thing, because that was actually like something that she did in the other books too, even the ones that were not like second chance romance. Like, they don't just hop into bed with each other.
Right. So it's more realistic. It's more, because like, obviously if somebody broke your heart that bad, you're not going to, even if you still have some sexual tension, you're not just going to jump into bed with them. Mm-hmm. So I like the fact that the author did that. And it made it seem like their relationship was progressing. Like, I felt like it was more of a progression than a sprint, which I did enjoy. Even though it was not a long book, it felt longer because of the progression versus the sprint.
Right. Yeah, it was just like a good, nice little almost insta love romantic read. Like, the relationship itself doesn't really have any hassle. It's like a very good rainy day series.
And it's a good little mystery. As you said, at first you was not sure about who it was or who it wasn't. I knew who I knew who it wasn't, but I was not expecting who it was. So that was definitely interesting to me.
Now I must give away like information for like a future book. Well, I'll let you know. I'll let you know after we reveal like who it was that was a part of this little stalker.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! I guess we're gonna go talk about the stripper at the end.
And so, later on, like after she's kidnapped in the book, and she let's just get this spoiler out of the way, because it is a short book. So the end came. So it was a duo stalker where they thought it was one stalker. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert. So it was the main stripper at the strip club and her dirty stepdad, who was also the owner of the little Fleabag hotel where she was cleaning the rooms in exchange for room and board. So the stripper was upset because she was popular really quick. And she was the main headline, and she thought the owner was going to make this new girl the new headline. But now that he's like seeing that this type of like innocent good girl thing is what attracts the crowd, she knows that he's just going to get another girl that will do that. So she feels like Alexandria has ruined her career with this strip club. Oh, and Alexandria is dating Mario, who, even though Mario does not even know who she is, she was going to seduce him. And she was going to be his girl. So that's why she now wants to kill Alexandria.
Well, don't forget that the strip club owner did take one of her, like her headline slot, and gave it to the girl.
Yes.
So it wasn't like it was unfathomed. Once he did that, she was like, oh, okay. But obviously,
she could have got there were some logical things that could have happened.
Well,
I mean,
look who raised her, though. You're assuming that she had all her ducks in a row.
Yes.
Her stepdaddy was crazy. So, hello. obviously he
Yes.
wasn't. Obviously, he who raised her, she wasn't raised right. Let's just put it that way.
Yes. And so they decide that they're gonna get, what, two ducks, one stone. Was that the same?
Uh, two birds with one stone.
Two birds with one stone. So they're going to do insurance fraud by burning down the hotel, and they're going to burn her up in it. So they're going to get rid of her
With the bodyguard.
time with the bodyguard.
Mm-hmm.
With the bodyguard. And so, like, they end up overpowering the girl because she wants to enjoy her misery longer by staying in the fire. They overpower her and they leave. And when they go outside, like, Mario has like figured out where she is, and the motorcycle club gang, which leads to my ultimate like big like what is going on. As she's like laying in the grass trying to get her breath, she urges this guy who is like the love of her life, her soulmate, go back into this burning building and make sure I didn't kill her. And I'm like, what?
Well, maybe it wasn't as much fire as.
No, that
okay
was on fire.
Okay, listen.
When they got her out.
Did she urge him to go in there, or was she feeling a certain type of way and he
urged him to go back in the house? She was like, I just can't live with myself if I've killed her. Go and see if she's dead. I'm like, really?
I would have let her burn. I'm not gonna lie, but I thought it was funny when he told all the people of the motorcycle gang that was it the ring or the necklace or whatever he gave her had a tracking device in it. They were like, ooh, we need to get one of those for our women.
How do I get that? Yes.
I was like, y'all a mess, but I love it. I love it.
Now, the future spoiler that I was going to tell you about that you are just going to be in shock of, and that just proves the craziness of this little family with the stripper and her stepdaddy. Okay. Earlier when they were trying to figure out like who the stalker was, they did like DNA testing on some glasses, but it was, the results were like tainted. So the bartender that did it, they killed her earlier in the book. Okay. Not only did they kill her, after they killed her, right? They took a trip to the college town where her little sister was, and told the little sister that the motorcycle club had killed her sister, and that there were dirty cops that were covering it up in the police department. So the sister goes to the town in a later book in the series to avenge the sister against the motorcycle club.
Oh, I think I read the preview for that because I did go and read some of the summaries for the next books because I was trying to figure out who gets who, because I was real interested in the guy who fixes cars. I was like, oh, I want to read his book. And he did get a book.
Yeah, he did get somebody. His was hilarious. He ended up with the klutz.
I'm gonna have to read that because I was like, I made a note to read it because I was like, I was really interested in his story because I'm like, he feels he's too dirty to join a motorcycle club gang because he went to prison. I was like, this is a motorcycle club.
Like, right. He like thought he would bring unwanted attention towards him. I forget what he did to go to prison now.
I mean, even if he committed capital murder, he wasn't bringing up attention that they didn't already have. Now, they were gray as hell, too.
They were.
So
so overall, I still don't know. Out of all the books that I read in that series, I read a good 6 books of that series. I don't know what this club does to make money.
I thought it mentioned that they own businesses. Am I wrong? I could have sworn they mentioned in the book.
None of them ever seem to go to work.
But why would they? You hire people to run your business.
They never mention what these businesses were. I have no idea how they make money.
Magic,
yes.
It's because the story needs them to have money. That's how they have money.
That's how they got money. They're like the soap operas. You know how there were no poor people on soap operas? If you
uh,
arrived to town poor, somewhere in the storyline, you were going to find yourself a rich relative or a lottery ticket or something. But you were not going to stay poor in the soap opera.
You ain't wrong. You ain't wrong at all.
You could come to town and orphan don't remember who you were. And years later, you're going to be in diamonds in a mansion somewhere.
And married 5 times, 3 of those times to the same man.
Yes.
Because you're going to remarry him 2 more times.
Yes, yes.
So what'd you rate this book as, Kitty?
I give it a 4.5.
I was thinking a 4. I thought it was pretty good. I thought it felt, and this is a note that I definitely wrote down. I was like, I felt like, except for the parts that we brought up as like, it felt like a real life story could happen this way kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I always enjoy the stories that, and don't get me wrong, I love crazy and I love this is unbelievable and this would never happen. But sometimes you get a story where it's like, this could happen to my neighbor. I could totally get this. This is logical to me. I love the progression. I love the realness of it because otherwise, I read a lot of fantastical things like science, sci-fi romance, shifters, vampires, that's not so real. So when I get a contemporary one that I feel is actually could really happen, especially since it wasn't like her former boyfriend was a billionaire's son and then the father broke them up because she was poor and he thought she was a gold digger. Now, granted, those things do happen, but let's just be real. The chances of you interacting and meeting a billionaire's son as a teenager as a poor kid is not exactly, it's like a 1 in a billion chance. So to me, this just felt really real. And how he earned his money felt like, I could see somebody going up the ranks in this type of business and having money based on that and changing his image so that he exudes power and wealth. You know what I'm saying? Like I could see that separating himself from more of the black stuff and doing more of the gray to white legal stuff. So I just thought that the book was fairly, it was real, parts of it was really witty. I was dying. The motorcycle club had me on the floor a few times.
Yes. I can't wait to figure out who it is that comes up with these room concepts. Like which motorcycle club is like, has an internal like interior designer spirit going on.
I don't know if you call it, it's more of a disaster. They basically calling him whipped. So because he's whipped, they paint everything pink.
Well, no, in all of the books in this series, that was kind of the thing when the motorcycle club guys in the previous book found their special girl, their room would magically be redone in a theme that the girl would love, and they don't know like who like comes up with the idea, but like people secretly pitch in.
How did I miss that?
So it's like a thing for the whole series. Like it gets done to everybody.
Yeah, it would be interesting to find out who's behind that for sure. Well,
there's even one. I definitely encourage you to like go and read the earlier books, especially book 2. You will love book 2 because they're like, since the girl has some seriously like trifling parents, and she's like on the run from an abusive husband. So you would like to read the second book, definitely.
Okay. I'm gonna have to add it to my list. As we know, my list is ever growing.
So, guys, have you read any books by Megan Fall? This is my first series reading from her. Have you read any of her other series or other books? If so, let us know down in the comments. And, I'm always on the lookout for a new MC Club romance author that I love who, they're not like so like having a chance of going to prison forever. So if you know that good guy MC motorcycle romance author that I have not talked about yet on our channel, let me know who they are and your favorite books by that person.
Stay blessed. Talk to you guys soon.
See ya.